If you love someone struggling with addiction, you know the ache of waiting, wondering, and holding on to hope.
You've seen the glimpses of who they really are and feared losing them to who they're not.
As long as they are alive, there's hope.
Between relapse and redemption is a raw and honest conversation between a mother and a daughter who've walked the long road through 20 years of addiction, Oxycontin, heroin, fentanyl, and found their way back to life, love, and healing.
Whether your loved one is lost in the spiral or fighting their way out, we created this space for you too.
To know that you're not alone, to understand more, to believe healing is still possible.
As long as they're alive, there is hope.
What relapse taught me about real love.
20 years,
Two
two
hearts,
hearts,
one
one story.
story. Subscribe for weekly videos that explore the real, messy, and meaningful side of addiction and recovery from both sides.
Subscribing and sharing will help others who need to hear these messages.
We will offer stories, insights, and conversations that offer hope, understanding, and truth.
And reaching more and more people is what we're really after here. So please like this, share it, subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi there. We're here for another conversation and let's begin.
Alrighty, so on our way back to my mom's house today, well, actually, no, it started earlier today when I was talking to you on the phone. So over the past, it's been a minute, couple months, I've been having some medical issues. I've been in and out of the hospital multiple times, and having
We can gratefully say it's not due to drug use.
it is not due to drug issues
Because now you are how clean?
I
How
am
long?
coming up on 7 months of being clean and
Yeah.
sober. Yeah, not that anybody's counting, but I am like 15 days shy of 7 months clean and sober off fentanyl.
I just think it's important to say because
Yeah, it's
given
definitely
the
not
topic here.
anything to do with drug issues. Nothing at all, thank goodness. But I've been experiencing some serious health issues, and I've been concerned about my heart, and but over the last couple weeks, I've been in the hospital 4 or 5 times, and I've been really worried. But over the weekend, I had some really bad. I had really bad like burning on the inside of my brain, like the inside of my head, behind my temple, and all the way to my ear. And I called both my parents, and my dad ended up taking me to the emergency room, and it all boils down to it was my blood pressure. So I wasn't supposed to have my doctor's appointment until September 29th, but my mom said just keep calling, and so I called and called and called, and finally they got me in, and so I went to the doctor on Monday, and
Well, and in part because you had to keep going back to the ER
Yeah.
because the blood pressure kept going up. And at the ER, they wouldn't give you any blood pressure medication to hold you over
no.
until you got to the doctors.
Right, so they'd give me medicine when I was there. They would do an EKG, they would do blood tests, they would do all sorts of stuff, and then send me on my way. And they said if it got worse or it acted up, come back. And I would go back, and they'd give me medicine again, do the whole routine over again. I'd feel better, I'd go home, and it was the same cycle over and over and over again. And so I finally got to go to the doctor, and it was just it was interesting. And
A primary care.
a primary care physician. And I was so grateful that I got to go to the doctor, although I felt like I was the doctor and he was the patient. And so luckily I had notes because my mom was texting me while I was there. Well, make sure you bring this up, and you bring up multiple things, and so thankfully I had that. But it was so he was just going down what my symptoms were and telling me, oh yeah, your blood pressure's high. And I'm just thinking, well, yeah, it's high. And he said, how often are you checking your blood pressure? And I said, morning, noon, and night. And so I was keeping a log in my phone of all the times I was taking my blood pressure, and when it was high, 15 minutes later I'd check it again and it was still high, or I'd be sitting down for 45 minutes resting, and I would check it was still high, and I would tell him all my symptoms, and he was like, okay, so yeah, you definitely have high blood pressure. Well, that's a given, and then he was asking, how I was feeling, and I told him all the symptoms I was having. And then he said, well, let's go through your medications. But at the beginning, he said, what medications are you currently taking? And I said, well, I just take Tylenol as needed. I'm not on any prescribed medications.
And you told him that you'd been clean
for
almost 7 months.
Yeah, and I told him right off the bat, I'm in recovery. I've been in recovery for 7 months because, one, I'm in sober living, and I want to make sure that he knows I'm in recovery, and that anything that's prescribed that cannot contain anything at all whatsoever, that one could be, a trigger for me, and two, that I could pop on for a drug test or contain anything, that could alter anything in my body for, my drug test or probation or just my own brain. Mm-hmm. And so I said that right off the bat. And so it came to, well, and he even gave me knuckles, like, right on, 7 months of recovery, right on. And then, well, let's go through your medication list. But I had already stated to him, I'm not on any prescribed medications. I take Tylenol, and so he's all, well, are you still taking Suboxone? And I said, no, I'm not on any medications whatsoever. Oh, so you're not on Suboxone anymore? No, I'm not on Suboxone. I don't take anything. Well, would you like to be on Suboxone again? And I'm just like, my goodness, I just stated I'm in recovery. And I understand that I'm not knocking Suboxone. Some people need it for whatever reason. I personally don't. And I don't want to be on it. I have no desire to be on it. And so thank you, but no thank you. I don't want it. But it just showed me how easy it is for prescriptions to be given. And then he went on to ask me, what about oxycodone? And I'm just like thinking, okay, that was a long time ago, but at the same time, oxycodone and Suboxone, you can't be taking those at the same time. They will counter-react, and you take Suboxone to get off oxycodone, and if you take oxycodone and Suboxone one, you're going to withdraw. And I'm just thinking, where did you go to medical school, dude? And not to bash the doctor,
There's missing links in there.
Totally. And
that you're already on this path of recovery and trying to get your own life straight.
Right.
And that you go to professionals of all different kinds.
Yeah.
And that you're looking for them to walk beside you on that path, your journey of healing. Because also, when it came to the side effects of the medication.
Right. He said, well, it could cause, swollen ankles and, swollen feet. And I was like, well, if that's the case, well, he said, water pills or whatever. And then I had asked him about coming back. He said, oh, we'll check up in 3 months. And I was like, oh, whoa. Well, this is a new medication, I will come back in 4 weeks. So it's just the lack.
And when you asked him also about
what I should be eating,
exactly.
What I shouldn't be eating, I had to be asked him. So no processed foods, what are sugars, sweets? Oh yeah, stay away from those. And it's you're a medical doctor here. You should be telling me, not me coming to you and asking you. And it's just I'm not trying to bash the doctor in any way, but I'm supposed to be the patient, and I was going to you because I clearly stated I've been out there damaging my body for so long, and I'm really trying to restore my body these days.
And you're looking for help.
And I am,
And you're looking for guidance.
I am, and I'm really trying to restore my health. I'm getting my mind right, and now it's really time for me to try and get my health right, and I'm just doing it one step at a time. And if I were to have gone in there not knowing absolutely anything, or not having the assistance from like my mom or my dad helping me and knowing what my or either one of my parents letting me know what my family's prior history was with our health, it's, what if another patient would have gone in there not knowing anything?
So what would you want people to know for someone who's going through recovery, whether it's the individual or it's a loved one going through recovery, who's been, out of touch with the medical system, because it's, as you said, you have had like 5 years of scheduled head MRIs or something,
Yes.
and that you bailed on, right?
I have.
And so it's pretty obvious that people who are under the influence of drugs on a regular basis are not caring for their body simply by the fact that they're putting drugs into their body.
Right.
But likely hand in hand with that goes crappy eating,
Oh,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Drinking.
If eating at all.
Yeah. And drinking things that, those energy drinks or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And that, as you had mentioned before, in a way it's like being a toddler again. You're starting to learn how to take steps again.
Mm-hmm.
And when you've been so out of touch with your own body, it makes sense that you're going to people to ask for that help and support.
It is.
So what would you offer to people? 2 questions I have is, one, how they could advocate for themselves, and number 2, your thoughts on Suboxone.
How they could advocate for themselves. I might need a little help with you, by you on this one. But from my point of view, how to advocate for yourselves is to be honest when you first go in there, to let them know when you're in recovery. Absolutely. And if you don't have questions, ask. And if you feel like you're not getting the answers you need, ask for somebody else. Or, reach out to somebody that may be in the same shoes as you are or been through what you've been through. And see what, they may have to offer. For, like I was saying, luckily I have my family that I can go to help me through this process. But like my mom said, it's starting back to like when I was a toddler. It's baby steps again for me. And it's like she was also saying, when we're out there, and for me personally, when I was out there, I ate rarely, but when I ate, it was crap. It was McDonald's or whatever, I came up on from the stores, or, whatever the case is. And I didn't care what I ate. It was just whatever I could get into my body. And another reason why I got like this big, this tiny.
You were quite sunken in the face.
I was tiny, and
looks so good now.
I got a little meat on my bones, but
healthy.
I'd rather have a little meat on my bones than be me again. But it's when you're a baby and a toddler, you have to learn to crawl before you can walk, and you have to learn to talk before you can. Or you have to walk before you can run, and it's absolutely baby steps. And like I tell my mom all the time, and sometimes throughout my days, it is too much for me to take it day by day or hour by hour. Sometimes I have to take it literally second by second, because I get so overwhelmed throughout my days, or just things are too much for me. And going to the doctor a few days ago, I was just so grateful to have my mom texting me throughout my doctor's appointment, because I was just losing my shit dealing with this doctor. But having my mom texting me and when I went to the hospital over the weekend, and my mom said, if you need me there to advocate for you, let me know. So to answer your question, reach out to somebody, or
there's someone out there.
There's somebody out there that will advocate for you
and with you.
Absolutely.
Help you advocate for yourself.
Absolutely. And I mean, I know you probably don't know me, or maybe you do.
For better or for worse.
For better or worse. And if you do and you don't like me, I'm sorry. You probably don't. You probably knew me in my addiction. I wasn't that great of a person. But I mean, if there's anything that I can do to be there to advocate for you, or if you have questions, let my mama or I know. And if there's anything we can do to answer your questions or help you through something that you need help with, let us know. Because this journey isn't freaking easy, but I'll tell you, it's so worth it.
And especially when you have, leading into my other question, especially when you have someone saying, hey, do you want Suboxone?
Right.
Well, you've already been saying, no, keep it away from me. And I've been staying off of it myself. And then to have it so easily offered to you. If you had been saying, I am struggling so bad out there and I'm having such a hard time and I'm trying to get off fentanyl, and he said, can I give you Suboxone, which we'll step into that. But
I was going to say...
But at least that would be more sensible in my mind.
Right.
Then, wow, fist bump, you're doing great, almost 7 months.
Now you want some drugs?
And now you want some drugs, right. So what's your thoughts on Suboxone?
So I'm sure my mom could speak on the Suboxone part also.
A disclaimer that we are not medical doctors.
No.
So I'm
just a recovering addict and a mom of a recovering addict.
We're not pharmacists, so we can't speak to that part, but we can speak to the human part.
Yeah, so I'm sure my mom could definitely speak on the Suboxone part. So I've given Suboxone a try a couple times.
Do they give it to you in jail?
Yes, they do.
Interesting.
You can Suboxone or methadone. There's a program called the MAP program, and you can get on Suboxone when you enter into jail.
And can you stay on it?
You can. Or they can taper you off. So there's a maintenance program where you can go on it and stay on it. Or there's a detox where you go on it and then they taper you off. And so when I got in trouble, arrested, and I went to jail in February, I was on it and then they tapered me off. And it helped me so I didn't withdraw so bad. And
so it serves a purpose for that.
It does serve a purpose. And but as you know, when you saw me months ago, my nephew just got home. Months ago, 7.5 months ago, and I was on Suboxone, I was a shit show. I might as well have been strung out the game on fentanyl.
You looked like you were.
Right.
And I kept asking you, are you using? And you said, no, I'm not. And I'm like, okay, well, you're drooped over and your eyes are...
Yeah, so, fentanyl can have... If you take Suboxone the way you're supposed to take it, it can serve a purpose. And if you misuse Suboxone like anything, obviously, it can become addictive. It can just be like every other type of thing out there,
and it can be misused.
Absolutely,
and used in
as I was doing.
So it can be used to get you high still in a way.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, in place of the fentanyl or whatever else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, really, just from your perspective, what do you think the value of Suboxone is?
The value of Suboxone to me is when you're on a high, you're using a lot of fentanyl, or you're using a lot of opiates, a lot of pills or heroin, and you're really wanting to get clean, or you want to get off like methadone or something, Suboxone, and use Suboxone to taper yourself off, like to get clean off that stuff.
So you even use that to get off methadone?
You can.
Wow.
Because methadone's, I think if I'm right, but you can also taper yourself off methadone to get off methadone. You
but
don't
it's
have
pretty
to
interesting to think that you take then another drug to get off methadone, which methadone helps you get off of heroin or
right. I might be a little mixed up on that one. Methadone, I know you can like end up just tapering yourself off methadone. I've never really taken.
Well, there's a lot of people that have OD'd on methadone.
Yeah, I've never really taken methadone. I've tried the methadone thing, but then I would just go out and use heroin afterwards, just because I felt like it wasn't doing enough. But Suboxone, personally, I was grateful for Suboxone when I went to jail because I didn't have to kick so bad. And then on the plus side, I was grateful that
they weren't willing to keep me on Suboxone. That they gave it to me for 2 weeks. And so I didn't really withdraw off anything when I was in the county. So they gave it to me to a certain level, then they tapered me off, and I was done. Mm-hmm. And they said, did you want to stay on it? And I said, no, I'm good. So
it served a purpose.
It served a purpose, and I was over none.
And then, though, it sounds like that's really where the fork in the road happens. Is if it serves a purpose to help you get off of the fentanyl, but that some people then take it as the substitute drug.
Oh yeah, then it becomes like a synthetic fentanyl. It's like a legal drug. Because then that's when it can be abused, and you can get it from any doctor you want.
Even the one you don't want it from.
Even the one I don't want it from. You want it? Here you go. No, I'm good. Thank you. And that's probably the first time I've ever said no to getting that type of prescription from a doctor. But hey, I did it. Kudos to me.
Kudos to you, all right. And it's actually, I think that's quite a testament to your readiness for recovery, because for you to be in there and have it, especially in jail where you don't want to be and you can't get out, and all the
trust me, I was trying to figure out how to.
But
only one door, Mom.
Only one door. But to have that then so readily available for you, and for you to say no, especially once you used it in there and then you didn't, because it's a whole conversation for another day of watching her detox for several days without. That is, if you ever saw The Exorcist, we'll talk about that another time, and that's no joke. It was something I'd never seen before. So I say today we leave it for that, and so there is help out there.
Absolutely.
It may be a bit of a challenge to find, but there is help, and I would guess too, I could be completely wrong, but your NA meetings probably have people that could help you out too, couldn't they?
Oh yeah, there's NA meetings, and Al-Anon meetings for the parents. There's all sorts of meetings out there.
But if somebody needs an advocate to like help them out, like I don't know where to go, or I don't know what to start eating, or I don't know how to talk to the doctor, that there's probably someone right there.
Oh yeah.
All over the world.
Oh yeah. There's NA meetings, AA meetings, 211. Let me get back to you on one of our next videos, and I'll do some research too, or we'll post it in our comments thing, and I'll definitely get some resources for people out there, or different programs for people that could help you, or if you're struggling or you have a family member that's struggling, to help advocate for those that may need help or support, or to help those out there that need you or need somebody. Or need somebody like my mom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.